poor cowardice souls that are going to.
Well, we've sort of got them here in this semicircle.
Well,
This horseshoe.
I don't know. Ella's like, oh, I mean, I'm spending my whole life with Ella, so I don't want Ella. We could take you. I should have already had you all picked out. You're new in the spotlight. Joel, why don't you stay there? Okay. No, that's not head through the gap. That's terrible. Is that what you learned from Pilates? My God. All right, so stay where you are. Okay, so Joel and you're Shauna, right? And then you're Yana. Yona. Yana. Okay, so you stay. Let's look at Tasmania. Tasmania. Let's see what you're up to today. You probably changed the whole form of the lesson, did you? All right, get a have a mat. Have a mat. And Ella, you're out. You're out. Move your mat out. This is a Saturday. You know Saturday Night Live? This is a Saturday Night Live version of Feldenkrais. So you're out, Ella, out. Okay. Now, let's see. I just want one more person. Who do I want? Well, maybe we'll start with you guys. So, you're good. So, right side or left side, I don't care, but one-sided, pick your better side, maybe. Is it right or left? Right. See, right-handed people. So bend one knee and put your hand standing with the fingers downward. All right. And so this is like you're teaching a class and you have four, I mean, you have to look at 4 people at once. So just see how you go. And slowly, slowly, slowly. Yeah, just forget we're watching. Slowly. The movement would be to, you can either push with the hand and the foot at the same time or, you know, initiate the movement from wherever you want. And we can also look at how they initiate the movement. And any differences that you can see between one person and the other. And actually, they all do it completely differently, don't they? Now, what kind of words are we allowed to use? Because you said you've done some movement observation before. So, what kind of words are we allowed to use to talk about differences? Oh, okay, you want to talk about Tom. Okay, you could talk about Tom. Okay. Well, yes, but I mean, how are we going to talk about it?
One body part in relation to another body part or in relation to the floor?
Well, for sure. Okay, so, all right, let's start with timing. So, just rest, you guys. Rest for 1 second. Okay. So, one of the things you'll see in your groups when you look at timing is that somebody might be going, like this is a sequential movement, yes? So somebody might be going da 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 yum, right? So when they speed up, what's happening? When they're going slow, what's happening? When they're speeding up, or very even, okay? So is anybody changing here in their timing where they're going slow and then they're going faster and then they're going Do you see anything like that? Okay. So let's look again. That's one idea, right? Now you guys have to think about it, right? You're getting private lesson. Well, now they change, of course. All right. Now, there's also something in this. Let me ask you this. What's more available to generally speaking, would you say the lower spine is more differentiated or the upper spine? What's more, I mean, can you see that the lower half for almost everybody has more differentiation than the chest? Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay. And then to go on with that, what strategy do they use to get the chest to do something so that they can take their head through the gap? And you have very different strategies. How will we talk about that?
Joel seems to be pushing more with his hands
Okay.
and going more onto his left shoulder.
Okay.
Also, I talk about the angle of the arm. Is this manipulation? How he's using the various parts of the body?
That is manipulation. Yeah, the manipulation is how the thing is done. Okay, so I'm going to introduce and you won't. I don't really want to. I'm kind of conflicted about it because I'm going to use some terms which have to do with biomechanical descriptions, and those terms are things like side bending, extension, and rotation. Okay, but I mean, just to get us thinking how we get a more three-dimensional movement, but I don't want to get too trapped in it. I don't want to set too much of a precedent. It's just only one way to talk about things, all right? But so Joel, you can sit up for a moment. We'll come back to you. You've been very, very good. Okay. But sit up and watch them. Yeah. And Yoni, she's changing okay, you can just sit up just for a minute. Okay, so let's just watch these two. So now, I forget your name, Hobart. What is it? Anka. Okay. All right. So Anka wouldn't mind coming out of the constraint. You can sit up too. Okay, we'll just pick on Anka for a minute. Okay. So, and these guys, everybody here is kind of doing things that's in the room. Okay. There's all sorts of things in the room. So far, I haven't found a perfect specimen of this ATM, and lucky for us, we get to keep working with it. Okay, so we're not finished. But she wouldn't mind, and then somebody else was doing this today, but she really wouldn't mind coming out of this constraint, would you? You would love to tilt your knee inward, wouldn't you? Okay, do you know why? Or you just feel like it? Because it feels fun for you to tilt it inward.
Because I still got movement available here, but I can't tilt this further and this.
Okay, because, and this actually, she's your partner, so we're going to come back to something. Because actually the movement is as if the knee, as if the knee would go forward over the foot, but she doesn't want to do it because she doesn't quite have the arching in the lower, she tries to do it without the extension. So if there's three parts to the movement, I mean, it's a spiral. And everybody, so there's extension, there's rotation, and then there's also side bending. Well, see, I can make you do it, but then am I being Pilates now? I don't know. I didn't study Pilates. Okay, all right, hold on. Huh? What?
I said, no, it's not rigid enough. The Pilates.
Okay. So hold your breath and contract here and here and roll like a board. Okay. Is that closer? Okay, good. Slowly. Okay, no, it's just slowly. Okay, so go really, really slow. So if this knee goes forward and this goes here, and don't do so, no, the minute you do that big a movement, it's finished. Okay, because you can solve it by rotating, turning, everything. But you'll just solve it, and then how will something new come in? Slowly. Okay, so here, this. Okay, there, and now there, and now there. Oh my God, she's so creative. All right, let me ponder that.
That was effort.
That was effort, really?
Like, in the wrist.
Okay, so you don't know what you don't know
I
yet.
know that this has come up before.
Yeah.
This is why.
Well, leave it, and so it's up to Moshe to help you with it. I'm just the messenger. It's his series, so let's see what happens. Okay. But there's a prize for you behind the refrigerator. Thank you for coming to the show. Okay, and let's just see one other thing. Okay. We're midstream, right? So we're just looking at differences, and it's up to the series to help her. So I'm just doing Moshe's series. It's called Head Through the Gap. Okay, but here also it's the same thing as from lower down. Go slow. Take your knee toward your foot and take this here and stop. See, if you'd stop trying to do such a big movement, then you'd have a possibility to find something that you don't find. You don't find that, do you? Did you know you had something here? You could do that?
Before, yeah.
When you were young and free. Okay. And come back. Good. Now your shoulder blade is free. Look, you see?
Yeah.
So that wasn't happening. Okay. So, thank you. So, when we say don't, stop trying to achieve it, we feel sometimes we can feel very punished when somebody says that. Don't try to achieve it. But if you give up the goal, you will reach the goal in a far superior way than doing it. Because the last way that you got your head through the gap was pretty cuckoo, actually. Actually, it was kind of a cuckoo thing. It was fun. Okay, well, good. All right, so you cook on that, all right? You don't have to understand it now, but it will make a difference at some point in time. It will open like a flower. We don't know when exactly, but it will. Okay, let's go. It's interesting, huh, to see, to help, and it's not a criticism. It's just we all do something and we all don't do something else. And your students, when you teach, you'll see sometimes it's like, how did they come up with that interpretation, huh? Because it's like how they like to move. That's why. Okay. So she has something slightly different than she does, which is she starts, well, what do you think in terms of this business of extension, rotation, and side bending we don't know about quite yet, but or where she uses what she doesn't use so much? Any ideas? It's not judgmental, it's a description. Her lower back, more differentiation, and middle back. All right. How did you learn to see all that? So you learned something from that example. Okay. Anything else? Well, actually, she's the most differentiated through here and then through here. Here she carries, what she does is she takes her chest and she kind of, okay, go ahead. Maybe I'm not right when I put my hand. Yeah, but she kind of carries this over and back as more, there's not a lot happening through here, right? I hate that word block, but. Well, let's find. Well, I didn't use it. I just said I just said there's a bit less. She carries it over with her. I did everything within my power not to say a word like block. Because, it gives people complexes, doesn't it? You didn't like it, did you? Yeah. But, then 20 years later, you meet the person and they still think they have a block. You just, that's like do not give each other more problems than you already have. Negative suggestion is powerful stuff. Seriously, the acupuncturists know that. I remember once I was very, very worried about myself, and I had all sorts of ideas about, like, my litany of woes, and I went to the acupuncturist, and he said, I don't know, there's a bit of wind here, and maybe the fire relative to the I didn't have any idea what he was talking about. He said, but your brain is very good, so that was good, So I went back to him and gave him more money. I liked that, But the thing is, it was great because I couldn't worry, and I didn't pay him money to give me a problem with a block or something. Okay, so we have to be careful if we're going to look at each other. We're just making distinctions. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I actually think one of the most potent things about what we do when we work with people who come to us is how much we avoid negative suggestion. That's a whole topic in and of itself. It's very powerful what we do in that regard. We do not use any kind of language because we can be hypnotized, and we've already been hypnotized. Sorry, you had a mother, a father, an uncle, or I don't know what you had, a brother, a sister, a teacher. You're already in a deep trance. We're trying to get you out of it. So.
What's interesting? Maybe I chose to use that because I know how confident she is within her own body and what she's capable of.
How do you know?
Because I know maybe if it was somebody else, maybe you wouldn't.
I'm making a general plot. We don't need to spend any more time figuring it out. Well, this is more differentiated, and now actually it's already changing because when I pull the knee, because see, the minute you actually take your knee over your foot, something starts happening here. Did you feel? Did you feel this a little? Okay. All right. So, but the series isn't over. Okay, one more time. So the other thing is, and then you can see with the timing, then she goes into a lot of neck movement. So most people will have a lot of movement in the lower back and a lot of movement in the cervicals. And because anatomically, they have more degrees of freedom. All of this, which is the proximal parts, which we know way less about, you have ribs hanging off of them from the front ribs, from the back ribs. So it's heavier, isn't it? And you don't have as many degrees of freedom in the thoracic spine. So it's all what humans tend to do. And yet but we're playing with getting more. Okay, good, thank you. Let's just see quickly a couple more people. How am I doing, Mark? Okay? Am I on track? Okay. She sorts me out. From the very first moment I met her, I was in Sydney wandering around the streets at lunch, and she came across the street and said, "How you going?" I'll sort you out. Come with me. And I did. Yeah, and it's been like that ever since. Lie on your back. And she'll do that for you too. Yeah. Okay. Now probably you decided that you're going to change something, aren't you? Okay, let's
I'm
see.
doing everything right, so it's
Well, you got your color scheme happening. I like it. Okay, that's a good start. Well, he's using more extension through the middle of himself than the other players. Is anybody using much? He's not much side bending, probably. So extension, rotation. Yeah, okay. This isn't really vertical. This isn't quite vertical. But because if it were really vertical, then you would do, let's see, like, okay, yeah, so it's, no, I can't even pronounce that word. So I don't think like that. But you know, in terms of self-image, there's a bunch of stuff here that you don't know can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ribs underneath the shoulder blade, connecting here to the sternum. The side bending is what's not so clear. So here, if you slowly lift. So if this comes closer and back, I don't want to push you quite that much, but if this comes, that's a side bending would be just that much and stop. And come back. See, it just doesn't occur to you to use your chest like that, right? But it's totally available. So that's the side bending. And then once you've got the extension, you've got the side bending there, and the shoulder blade goes down, and now your head went through whether you wanted it or not, almost. You pull his knee, Margaret, make sure he doesn't get out of it. Did you want to pull his knee? Yeah, okay.
This is what I would get.
Yeah, so, okay, wait a minute, 1 second. The problem is we pegged you as such a good sport. What? No, I've never done this before in my life. No, we're in the unknown, along with, who was it along with you? We're in the unknown, and we're confused, but we like it. We're making it up in the moment. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. There you go. Slowly. Now your head, you feel it's even more free, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is actually year 2, but year 3 for we're a little ahead of ourselves, but okay. All right, but there you go. I wanted you to have something since you agreed to be on the show today. There, your head is free. You see, the minute the proximal is participating here, your head got light. You feel? Okay. So we're not there yet. I'm finished with you, Joel, myself. I'll let Margaret. Yeah. Okay. This poor guy. Okay.
No. There's something down here. Yeah. So there's something here. There's something here. Now, slowly.
There you go. Beautiful.
Slowly.
Beautiful.
And back again. Can you feel the difference?
Yeah.
All right.
There was something in there that.
Well, so that's for you. Then you have to do your lessons. But we're not done. Okay. We're not finished.
We're
Yeah.
not finished.
What did he say?
This can reach away as well.
Ah, your
He's
other
got
side of your
another leg.
pelvis.
He's got
Oh,
another leg.
now you have a whole self. You were thinking too much of one side. Well, that's our fault.
That's totally.
We didn't tell you to think of the other side. We need Moshe's help for that. But you see, remember before I said in ATM, we think of only one side. We think of the front, not the back. And you keep looking for it in the same place. And the minute you've thought of the other side, okay, great. Just, we're not going to, I think we're not going to touch Yana. We'll just, no, well, I don't want to, I mean, it's too much. It's just, I don't want you to feel like we invited you to the show and we didn't look, so.
You don't have to look. I don't need to be in the show.
That's right. You get paid usually to be in a show. What do you need to do it for free for?
That's not much money.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Completely different in the other three, isn't it? Can you see that this is a completely different strategy of? All right, just the very beginning at the, finally a little bit of rotation. But she's trying to solve it as if she's going to, which thing do you think you do primarily? Do you know?
Primarily.
Never thought about
I
it.
think about the spine
Arching.
by bit.
Like a chain.
Away, and then I sequentially think about it. So that's what I do primarily. Is
Okay.
the push in the hand comes quite late.
Okay. All right. But the rotation came very, very late too, right? Okay. So there's even more, there's even more. We didn't even give away the whole story, but you've used up your quota for today. Let's move on, okay? There are quotas in the group process. So, no, because that's why I pick out people from the back that aren't talking, and I will continue to. And if you're the, this is an egalitarian society. You're all, right? Isn't it? What?
Totally classless.
Totally.
Classless. No class level.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think? Should we go on? Let's go on. All right, so lie on your back.